He runs through some spells and other physical formulations that he believes will protect the poison. You do run a bunch of experiments that are going to result in the destruction of 1 vial worth of poison as he's trying to get this right. And you are working together with him the whole time.
Okay.
So lose 1 vial of poison for that.
That's the same vial I already gave to him, right?
Yes. That is the vial you already gave to him. It's not an additional one at this time. But by the end of this vial, he believes that he has a good understanding of the tolerance of this poison to different effects that are involved in the reaction you're trying to create. And he can teach you the magic that is needed to be performed during the construction of this thing. But in his words, it will need to be performed by a wizard who understands it.
Okay, so I'll need Lara's help.
Indeed.
That moment, Lerma just gets a shiver down his spine.
Okay, I've already decided he'll help me, so...
But if you have time left, I can help you make some, so that you've got some ready for when you need it.
I would appreciate that.
Every vial of the poison you have, we can work together and make into a... what do you want to call it?
2 bombs.
An interesting choice. But fair enough. I wouldn't have come to it without your invaluable inputs. We shall call them such. Although I would direct your attention to our latest experiment as it goes off and creates a cloud. Says, it is not very gooey, more like mist. But
Yes,
you
but
have...
it'll turn the people to goo.
Indeed, I think that is accurate. Oh.
Yes. You see, I had this special bow made, so I wouldn't waste any of the purple worm poison.
Oh, may I look at it with my fingers?
Yeah, I'll show him the bow. I'll show him Gooinator.
He's going to gently remove it from your hands and then twist in his unnatural way as he sets it on the table at which he's been working, like almost carelessly pushing aside beakers and burners that you've been using with utmost care for the last 2 hours. Oh, yes, very interesting. And this part does... I understand. It is genius. But I do not... This string... I am not terribly familiar with weapons at this... The string itself seems old and new. Is it magic?
It is a magic string. I found 4 of them in an ancient vault in the city of Garland.
Oh, Garland. I know stories. This Garland, they say, Mother used to tell us that there was a place, a secret place, where a great deal of science was done. You know, I wanted to travel there myself. Once upon a time, I felt that it would be better for my mental health to be in a place that is more ready for these ideas. Unfortunately, I was later to learn that it does not actually exist. So I was told...
It doesn't now.
Yes, unfortunately, it had been long since taken over by a lich. And in our process of defeating the Lich, the city was destroyed.
And they
At least I
had
think it was.
science
They
within.
had a lot of crazy things.
You don't say.
Yes, they look like some sort of clockwork machines and all sorts of. They had I'll pull out one of my grenades.
Oh,
They had these.
gonna snatch it out of your hand and begin examining it in the daylight.
They had these wonderful devices here that cause area of effects. They're like they work like you throw it and it casts like a spell where it lands.
Oh, I see. Alterations. Fireball. I understand these runes. Draconic. Gnomes.
Oh,
Stories were true. May I?
and
I keep this. It would be most useful to my research. I would not take it. I could pay you.
yeah, we can work that out. You can
An exchange! An exchange, yes. The bombs you want. The mist.
Oh, yes.
Excellent. He pockets the grenade. To work. We work. Work quickly. Daylight is important. Yes! Excellent. You work on this. And now that he's got the idea of it down, he has been writing notes the entire way. Almost a recipe that he can follow to recreate it. You are able to create... How many vials would you like to sacrifice?
So wait, what?
Each single vial containing 3, charges per your bow is going to make 1 bomb.
Okay, and then I'll be able to use that bomb. All right.
Yes.
I'll need to refill. Okay. Then I will make 5 bombs, please.
And the bombs, just so that you're aware, you probably know this already, but the bombs can't be added back to the bow.
Yeah, they can't be unbombed, yes.
Right, exactly. So you said 5 bombs?
Yes, 5 bombs.
5 bombs, alright. Then mark down that you have 5 fewer vials, and you instead have 5 bombs. So these bombs, the way they're going to work is that, there's not going to be a roll by you. You basically are going to throw it and just choose a spot within 30 feet.
Okay.
So that's going to be the range. The range is going to be 30 feet. So you can do it closer, or you can do it up to 30 feet, but that's as far away as you can throw it. Next, when it goes off, it's going to hit an area that is a 15-foot radius. So it's going to be 3 squares on either side in both directions of the square you choose. Or in 4th edition terms, a burst 3. So 15-foot radius.
Okay.
You can throw that up to 30 feet away from yourself. Anybody caught in the explosion is going to have to make a DC 20 Constitution saving throw.
Oof.
Okay.
And the damage is going to be 10d8 poison.
Alright.
And then 4d6 piercing. Save for half.
Okay.
Don't catch anything you care about in the blast.
I'll be careful.
Now then, you, small one. What's your name?
It's Jebble.
Jebble. Jebble. I knew a Jebble once. Long ago. Any event. You're... interesting. What do you do?
Magic?
Indeed. But how? You don't strike me as a wizard, and your understanding of the natural world is more like a surgeon than a scientist.
Well, I'm a druid.
It is an interesting
Yes.
day. A druid.
Try that again.
Your power, your magic, comes from the world.
Yeah.
I know some who commune with nature, and they have interesting magical abilities sometimes. Communicate with animals, heal people, but not
Yeah.
through the power of a god. But you, perchance, have a spell that creates little berries.
Yep.
Can you create them now?
Just 1 second. Yeah.
Excellent.
I cast Goodberry.
May
Good thing
I
I had that one prepared.
have these? He indicates your entire 2 hands full of 10 berries.
Yeah. They're gonna stop working in a day's time, so
I have something for that. And he, scoops them out of your hands and says, only person I knew who could do this before I was able to show him a trick. Come to the table. And he begins working his alchemy again on these things. You see that he presses out the juice from these berries as though they were real fruits, as opposed to magically created, and then begins mixing it with a few other powdered or liquid ingredients, explaining to you that each of them is a natural extract of a plant or item, fungus, that you can find easily in most places, so you should be able to replicate this wherever you go.
I recognize a couple of the names.
You do. Pretty much, he explains things well enough that you know exactly how to make this when he's done. And you know that the ingredients that he's looking for are not rare. But they do require working, and it only works with your magic. With this good berry. He, at the end, holds up a small triangular vial that looks very much, it's red in color, and if you didn't know better, you would almost think that it was a potion of healing, a standard potion of healing. He says, this little number has kept many fighters going in the field when they didn't have the access to a potion shop. Not only that, but because of the rare ingredient, your berries, it's a bit more potent than your garden variety, if you will. However, it does come with some side effects. The preservative that I've used to extend the effect of these berries is a bit alcoholic. The good news is, drinking this potion will still sustain the body for the day. What do you think, little Jebble?
It heals?
Yes, it heals 10 points of HP. No roll. And it sustains you. Like the berries would. But only one person. But quicker. Before, the berries, individual, weak, eat them one at a time. This, all at once, one go. Better.
Efficient use of time.
Efficiency. Efficiency is an important factor in our calculations. Now then, I've had some thoughts. Your magic, my alchemy. I think that we can do some interesting things. Will you work with me, Jebble?
Yeah, more of this.
Then, you will work for the remainder of the time, until you have to go meet your friends, on, potions. He explains how your particular brand of magic, rare, unique, intriguing, can be used to fuel the alchemy. All of the things he shows you require natural reagents, mushrooms, leaves, flowers, bugs, things you can find and pick in most places, you know, obviously climate permitting, but they're not, like, rare and wondrous and you have to climb the tallest mountain in the right season or you'll never find it. Nothing like that. But I have a little list of things here, because you had told me in the past you were thinking to do ability buff potions. Something a little more than what's available in the book.
Okay.
Is that accurate?
Sounds like something I would say.
Very well. I will pass this list on to you, but it explains how you can utilize these reagents and the power of your spell slots to create numbers of potions of varying strength based on the spell slot sacrificed.
Okay.
So, cost daily resources, but it will give you a selectable level of power boost for abilities and for skills, which is why your magic is so important as a part of it. Because this is definitely a magical effect being put into a person and held there for a duration by the alchemy.
Once we've finished, I am going to be like, and I suppose probably going to need extra vials then. Where would I pick those up?
You can purchase them here. At the university, we have people who create them. Certainly your Professor Laramundus gave you permission to do that.
Did he? And I turn to Vendar. We're getting material components for spells. I suppose vials.
Vials would count as material components, I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't mind getting some more vials either. You never know when you might run into another purple worm and need to
They are
fill a bunch of
available for purchase from the Alchemarmory, where I found you. Now then,
I do.
Before you go back there, Mr. Vendar, that purple worm poison you have, can I interest you in selling any of it?
Sell you a vial?
I would be willing to give you 50 platinum coins for a vial.
Okay.
Excellent.
I will hand him a vial.
He pulls out a pouch and sticks his hand in it and pulls out a platinum ingot as well. The equivalent exchange for coin.
That's fine with me.
Is that all you would like to sell in the one?
I'll sell you one more.
He reaches into the very clearly empty pouch in his hand and pulls out another platinum ingot.
Thank you.
Thank you. In a way, you have funded my research for the year. I owe you one.
I'm eager to see what your research comes up with.
Please. And he eyeballs both of you, or at least you believe he's probably eyeballing both of you, as his eyes are still hidden behind his goggles. Says, visit me anytime. I would love to hear new ideas.
Before we leave, I just tap Vendar and I go, do you still have that sword I got you? Did you give that one away?
Which one?
The worm.
I have a purple worm dagger.
Oh, you gave the sword away?
Which
It was a long sword.
Sword, then I probably gave it to, like, Yukikaze or something.
If he doesn't have it, then he doesn't have it, because I don't see any point in bringing it up if he doesn't have it on him.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a purple worm dagger. But I don't have a purple worm longsword. I don't know what happened to that.
You may have passed it off to someone then.
Yeah,
You have my permission to cry.
I either
Thomas.
passed it off to someone or I deleted it from my sheet for some reason, and I don't know.
I mean,
I
it's
do not
possible that I
see-
never created a purple worm longsword item in D&D Beyond.
I vaguely remember it. I know that there was a problem with it because it wasn't finesse. I have a vague memory of it being given to someone else.
I have a vague memory of it being given to someone else too. Probably
Yeah,
either the fighter or the paladin.
I
It's
think it was either
probably
Yukikaze, or it might have been me when I was learning to use long swords and he had a spare. Let me actually check my sheet. I might have it.
Well, either way, you're not here, so you can't give
Either
it
way, I
back to
don't
him. Yeah, either way, you don't have it. So, where would you go from there, Jeb?
No, that's it. If he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it.
Oh, okay. Then it was wonderful to work with you today, boys. Have a
Yes, it was
safe
great making
trip.
your acquaintance.
You.
And if I manage to get more purple worm poison, I'll be sure to swing by and sell you some.
Simply inquire for Vysandreas. They all know me here.
I'll bet.
Now then, you should return to your friends. It's getting late.
Yes, we have a time schedule. We probably have to leave soon.
Yeah, we have to pick up some of those reagents and vials, and then not a lot.
Alright. Do you
A
know
lot of
which
time to get
reagents
things
and
done.
vials you need so that I can just slap a price at you?
What did I need? Diamond dust.
Okay.
I think it was diamond dust for 5 castings of Greater Restoration.
And that's... Greater is 500 gold pieces
Yeah.
worth?
Yeah, I put under notes.
Or was it 3? 3 castings?
Either are.
So you want... We'll call it 5 for now, because that's going to be 2,500 gold pieces, or 250 platinum pieces. You
I
have
don't
that?
have two. Nothing, nope.
No?
No.
Alright, what have you got?
122.
122 platinum?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can afford... 2 castings. And you'll have 22 platinum pieces left over. Is 2 enough?
Wait, what are we talking about?
Castings of Greater Restoration, Diamond Dust.
Greater Restoration, Diamond Dust.
I think it's only 100 GP, not
Yeah, it's
500.
100 gold.
Oh, it's 100 GP?
Yeah, Reincarnated is expensive, so that's like 1,000.
Right.
Why did that zoom in? Oh. Yeah, the Greater Restoration, Diamond Dust, I believe it's... Oh. Do I have that?
It's 100? You sure?
Greater Restoration.
Yep, it's 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's only going to be 500 GP, which is 50 platinum coins for 5
Okay,
castings.
so I will. That's under inventory.
Okay. And then
50
you wanted vials? How many vials do you want?
How much would 10 vials set me back?
Here, they got the nice vials, 10 gold.
I'll give them 1 platinum.
Okay.
So it's 1 gold per vial.
Yep.
I want to buy 21 vials.
Okay. And 21 gold pieces.
Okay.
Oh, do they have any of
And
the
2 platinum gold.
Okay. Yep.
Do they have any of the other things I would need to make these potions, like the preservatives, that kind of stuff? Or is it all just gonna be now that I have to track that stuff down?
They do seem to have a wide variety of things. So just tell me what the thing is, and I'll slap a price on it.
The reagents for the good berry potions. That's what he was asking
The
about.
other, and whatever other potions that they said.
Oh. Yeah, to get, like I said, those are common ones that you can probably find easily with foraging, so, to get those reagents, you know, properly, sorted and refined here, in total, rough estimate of the number of potions you might make?
Say 3.
3 total, or 3 of each.
Well, I don't know what the other ones are yet.
Right, they're the buffy potions, the buff potions.
Yeah.
I gotta send you the note I have on them. So 3 or like 5?
There's... Which ones are they? It's the Goodberry potion and then the buff potion. How many is it?
Well, I set up the buff potions for all 6 attributes, and then the other kind are for the skills. So you could make one for any skill.
Do they all use the same stuff, or is it...
For simplicity, we'll say that it's mostly directed by your magic, so the stuff in the potion is there just to make it stick to the person and work upon them, so yes.
Okay. Then we'll say 5 potions. Yeah, that's me.
How do the skill ones work? Does it just like increase your bonus?
You want me to just quickly run down how those function?
Yeah, sure.
Interesting.
Okay. So the way the buff potions work, the two flavors I made were the ability buff potions and the skill buff potions. For the ability buff potions, depending on what you spend in spell slots, is going to determine what the effect is, and the effect is going to be anywhere from a +1 to a +6 to the ability. You can choose any of the abilities, and it's a 1-minute duration. For the skills, it's, again, just like the abilities, it's a +1 to a +6 to an individual skill, but that has a 10-minute duration and costs like a third in your spell slots of what the ability ones do.
Okay.
But they'd have the
You
same...
can stack a skill. That's nice.
I mean, you're only going to be able to be under the effect of, like, one potion for ones. Like, you could do a bunch of skills, but, like, if you downed 2 potions for the same skill, it wouldn't stack.
I know, but I mean, if you already have a high skill,
Oh, yeah,
like,
okay, that's
made
what
a
you mean by
spell potion
stack.
for me.
Yeah. yeah, you could.
You know, and then, like, if you made a +5 or a +6 stealth potion for me, then I'd be over +20.
Yep.
So, you
They
know,
couldn't see me before, now they can't see me even more.
it's... Now maybe Lynn wouldn't be able to see me.
Removed from their minds.
And cast Pass Without Trace first.
You're
My
cheating,
stealth is
Vendar.
so high,
I
even
have a
I don't know where
58
I am.
stealth. Not even the gods know where I am.
That's what you think, Pug. Oh, shit, where'd he go? Alright, so that's the quick rundown of how those function. They give you a static bonus for a duration, 1 minute on abilities, 10 minutes on skills. The static bonus is between 1 and 6, and that bonus is determined by how many spell slots you spend to create the potion.
Does the spell slots affect the Goodberry potion? Static.
No, because that's casting Goodberry.
Yeah.
And I don't believe
But, yeah,
there's an
Goodberry
effect
doesn't-
for upcasting Goodberry. I think level 2 Goodberry is the same as level 1 Goodberry, right?
Let me just double check that.
Yeah.
Don't even
Yeah.
get more berries.
Yeah.
Weird.
So it's just, you take the 10 Goodberries that you make, and then you smush them into this potion, and that's it. Now you have this potion that lasts longer than Goodberries would. Heals you all at once instead of 1 HP at a time. Gives you all 10 HP. Still gives you the, you're fed for the day, but is also slightly alcoholic because of the preservatives.
Packs a bit of a punch.
Little kick.
Aha! I know, I like... Was that a pun? Punch?
No.
Fruit punch?
Goodness gracious. I will take them away.
You punched this spike.
Okay. So, to make 5 of those, you said?
I think I said yes.
Okay.
5.
We're gonna call that, 25 gold.
Inventory. That would be 2 platinum, 5 gold.
Yes.
2 and 5. Remove. So I have. Let's see. Regents.
An amount of money.
5 potions.
Alright. Is there anything else you desperately need?
I don't think so. Can't
Okay.
think of anything.
Are you, satisfied, Vendar?
Nope.
Okay. You had your interesting lesson with an interesting man,
I enjoyed it.
and he likes you. Whether or not that's a good thing is entirely up to you.
Yeah.
No, I think it is. I like this guy. Man after my own heart.
Now there are two of them.
Boy. Alright, I'm gonna do a quick jump back to Yukikaze, who is over in the library.
I think while you're doing that, I'm gonna run out a little early to give
Preempt the
medication.
cat!
I'm sorry. I'm busy with my research. Come back another time.
I am your research! So, the more you look around this library, looking at these books, you find that it's pretty well organized, so more books on the subject are all in this section. It seems like the most well-documented event of the type you're looking for, which was the rise or fall of God, does appear to be that of this former god of death, who you find is named Nerul, who is replaced by the goddess you know, the Raven Queen. All of this research points to the fact that this changing of hands occurred thousands of years ago, and for as long as you've known, like, things with death have been pretty okay. The Raven Queen seems to do a pretty good job. The clerics, help people. Undeath is, as your party has seen, a problem, but as your party met a cleric of the Raven Queen, you know that people are out there proactively working on that. So, ultimately, it seems like things are pretty good, that this Nerul character, whoever he was replaced by the Raven Queen, and the world seems fine. You do, however, find stories that talk about the strife, the struggle, the wars that followed the fall of Nerul, as the people who wielded his power, his chosen clerics, struggled to hold on to their diminishing power, and utilized it in ways that were, with this 2020 hindsight that you've got reading through this, petty and violent, as they sparked revolution and uprising and willy-nilly created undead to try and find a way to bring back their waning power, their lost god, and to undermine this usurper, the Raven Queen. According to your readings, it took years, even decades, for that to settle out, as the Raven Queen fully took her power and her clerics spread throughout the world, and put down these violent uprisings by the former followers of Nerul. These uprisings, they weren't small events. This was full-blown bloody war that resulted in the deaths of thousands over the course of these decades. So you know that while things are fine now, while things are even pleasant, at least, when it comes to the goddess of death, during the period when she took power, when the former god of death died, or disappeared, or was replaced, sources vary on what the exact mechanism was, it was very not good. There was a lot of uncertainty and despair in the world because of it, as well as a lot of undead. Is there any other bits of information you want to find? Anything I can help with?
If I haven't been contacted yet by anyone or whatnot, I will, no one's, to my knowledge, I remember speaking to me of anything that they're researching or looking up or any information they wanted, so I will, after I've covered that, I've gotten a good feel of what would happen and how it's given me more to think about. I would like to move on to reading information about the Feywild since we're going to be heading there next, and maybe some important things that would be combat related for me being able to function as a fighter in that environment.
Great idea. Roll me an investigation check.
Dice feel lucky today.
The dice feel lucky today. Nat 1.
The day is my... Oh, shit.
Raiken hasn't gotten to say that in a while.
I wonder why.
It's my favorite number, but it's not the number I want.
Oh, no. Is it 14?
7.
Oh.
Plus, let's see what I got for... I don't know if I have anything for investigation. I don't believe so. But why aren't you bringing up my thing? Investigation. Nope. Big old fat 0.
So you got 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe survival would help. Knowing what to look for.
I need to track down these books with my hunting skill. Alright, I'm gonna grab you for a second. Boop.
Oh,
Alright,
no.
so you're in a library, so really what this investigation roll indicates more is how much information you're able to get, just because it takes you longer to find things.
Oh, okay.
So going and looking for things about the Feywild, you know that the place is dangerous. You know that there's a multitude of Fey creatures, ranging from, fairies, pixies, through magic casters like hags, to the, classic beasts of the Feywild, owlbears, up to, true Fey and archfey, which are intelligent creatures, but they don't, think or function like humans. Even though they often have appearances like humanoids.
They have a humanoid, appearance.
Aren't
human.
Yeah, and as you know, Zintharamil is an example of an archfey who has an appearance that is reminiscent of a humanoid, even though he doesn't truly appear as any humanoid race you know. He speaks as a man and is clearly capable of thought. So he's not a beast. He is of higher intelligence. So it warns about these. All of these types of creatures which are out there that can kill you. It tells you that they generally only appear between the elven city-states. And the city-states are these places within the Feywild, which is a chaos of magic that have been ruled and bent into shape by the elves there, the elves and the Eladrin that inhabit it, and they, roughly resemble cities like Dykoselthus, where they're sort of naturalistic and, stone forged together.
Okay.
These places tend to be safe, depending on, how the inhabitants feel about you personally. But, as a general traveler, if you're able to get in, they are places that are safe. Outside of these, it is very unpredictable. Kind of why they call it the wild. Magic is everywhere and much more present in everything than it is here in the material plane. And it has odd effects on, as Laramendus warned, on the weather, on the flow of time, on the types of creatures that you'll see, on people's dispositions. You're never quite sure when you're between city-states exactly what you're going to experience. But it could be that time gets compressed. It could be that time gets expanded. It takes you more or less time to get where you think you're going to go. Weather patterns change erratically, or you end up in the controlled area of an archfey. which could be exceedingly dangerous, as it warns that because the Archfey do not think as humanoids do, anything that you say to them could be construed far differently than the way you interpret it. Most often, this ends up with people getting entangled in agreements with Fey, owing them things without realizing that they've agreed to something like that. Simple gestures as offering you food or shelter could be binding contracts among the Fey.
So one knowledge piece would be to don't be very mindful of your interactions with the Fae. Like you said, because that could bind me.
Right. I think the biggest takeaway is that words have meaning, and so you must be very careful about what words you use, because a casual, sure, I agree to do that, could be a binding contract to a Fae.
Okay.
Thank you could be a binding contract to a Fae.
Okay.
These are the information you get.
Is there anything I would have, was that it? What about for, like, environmental, like, things that are consumable in the wilds, things that I'm allowed to, like, is there any major...
Yeah, you can forage, but everything carries a possibility of having odd or adverse effects. So you could find a guide on what's okay and what's not okay to eat. And this place does seem to function a lot like a Temple of Ione, in that if you wanted to keep this information, they would happily copy it for you.
I would probably want a copy of, typical things to be, that could hit us on terrain, and sources of water, and safe ways to shelter ourselves.
Okay.
That's
surviving the Feywild. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll make copies of any pages that you want that contain that stuff, and so while you're there, you'll have advantage on survival.
Okay, that's what I would like.
Yeah.
Alright, I think that's good for now, I believe. And then I'll just keep poking around until someone comes to get me.
Alright, sounds good. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Welcome back to both of you.
Yeah, that was, I clicked on something and it dragged me all the way to the top of the server, so I had to scroll back down and find the voice channel.
I was wondering what the like, bit of a delay between the two of you was.
Yeah, it was me hitting the wrong buttons. Enough that it messed me up. Alright, so the last person who is separated, I believe, is Cyrus.
Yo.
So, Cyrus, you have been engaged in multiple games of Dragon Chess, and you have lost every one of them. Some you felt like you were getting close to victory or doing well, and then he just suddenly turned it around on you and overwhelmed you and defeated you. And multiple times you feel like something was amiss, but you cannot put your finger on it.
Alright. Well, I've exhausted my own theories. At least ones I can test without spells.
He simply sits in the chair, chuckling to himself. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I think that... that's enough practice for now. I'm gonna give her a run for her money this time.
Who's that?
Oh, just an old friend who comes and visits me every so often.
Best of luck, but it seems you won't need it.
Well, you always want some luck on your side when you're playing for your life.
Come again?
The game of life is survived only by those who have the will to win it.
Alright.
You've got some things to learn if you want to survive this game. Now then, what are you going to do?
Well, find out what time of day it is first.
Make you a spiral! He waves a hand and the table and glass chess set disappear. You find also that the chair disappears out from under you, dumping you unceremoniously onto the floor.
Ow.
As he stands up and wanders deeper in the room. Now then, my guests will be arriving soon. You should go rejoin your friends. Outside my office.
Yeah, I just nod and turn to leave.
Remember to make you a spiral. You must become worthy of what you want. You leave the office to the echoes of him muttering something to himself, potentially about you. You get outside the building and you find it is quite late. The sun is setting.
I should probably start heading towards the portal. So I guess I'll head that way, because I don't, want to miss it.
You get directions to the Amphitheater Square. And so, I believe all of you have accomplished the things you hoped to accomplish.
I think if there had been time between us leaving Evandel and this, Laramidas would have gone to see Amara to explain about the enchantment rituals, and because I don't remember if we had actually covered that in the last discussion.
No. Well,
I think he had been too tired to properly go through it.
Indeed, and it would have required time. Are you going to take the Antatsia with you for that?
If the Laramidas would say what he wanted to do to this, in the little time that we have remaining, I'm going to meet up with Amara and explain to her how to enchant and destroy magical items for or with the residuum, so that some amount of research can be done here with it as well. If you have other things at the university you'd like me to point you towards for your own enjoyment, I can certainly do that, or you are welcome to come with me. Both of them are muted.
Tatsuya and Leah don't want to talk to you.
I am fine following you, as you are the one that'll get us all together for when we finally leave. I don't want to get lost.
If you prefer to wait at the amphitheater, then I can bring you there. Should be where everyone's meeting up.
I am willing to find who I need to talk to Tristan, what was the word again?
Audit.
Audit classes?
You spoke at the same time.
Audit classes.
Audit, yeah. I'd like to see who I need to speak to audit classes. Please.
Given your age, that discussion might be Tatsuya. Why don't you go with her to help her with that? Given her age, there are very few people at the university that are as young as you, and so it would be easier if you're with someone older.
Why can't that be you?
What, you can't spend time with your uncle?
There isn't much time for the discussions that I need to have, unfortunately.
Fine. But no mentioning or arguing about your goals or whatever.
Have I done any of that so far lately?
Not to my knowledge.
Cut your uncle some slack.
So Laramendus would explain how to get where they need to go and who to be talking with to find out more information about, the process and what schedules are looking like and things like that.
Very well. You successfully extricate yourself from them, Lair. So, you go to see Amara.
Yep. I go to where I believe her office was.
Yes.
Probably where it is.
Yep. As is often the case with elves, things do not change quickly.
Wonderful.
And so, he is there. He seems to be, busily going over some documents, signing things, pulling them up, reading them down, setting them aside, rubbing her temple.
Good afternoon.
Sometimes I wonder if it is. Sorry, Laramendus. How are you finding things?
It is too comfortable being back.
I should hope so. Gone to great lengths to make sure it is.
But I was hoping to be able to share with you the disenchanting and enchanting ritual that I had been taught, or I suppose you, or if you are particularly busy with paperwork, if there's somebody else who you'd like me to walk through it.
If you give me a copy of the notes and quickly walk through it with me now, I am familiar with your style. I won't need you to tutor me the whole way. You said that this was something that a traveler had given you, and you had shared it with Nalia, is that correct?
Yes, Nalia is aware of it. Out of character, I'm trying to remember. Did it get into the Temple of Ione in Tuca?
It didn't. It didn't, because you were giving the Temple of Ione and Tuca the recollection of your journey in chronological order, and you got busted out before the Nerevar portion.
Yeah, okay, so the
You
Temple
had
of Ione didn't have
basically
it.
gotten up through a bunch of the Lich's memory room stuff.
Yeah, because I remember Larmendus was particularly interested in sharing that information, so he'd spent even more time.
Yes, and I had checked with you explicitly if you were going in chronological order, and you said yes.
So I guess that makes it Nalia is the only other wizard who knows it that I'm aware of.
Ta-da! Yes. At least, as far as you know, she hadn't shared it with anyone. Like, the only other person you know her to... There's only 2 other people you know her to have any meaningful contact with in a magical sense, and those are Claire, who is busy running Volinar, and Kalimdar, who is dealing with Tuka being half melted.
Yeah. Okay, so she had asked if I had shared it with Nalia, and I will say yes. Nalia has been able to do very interesting things with the enchanting ritual.
She simply she smiles, and you notice it becomes a pretty smug little smirk after that. Says, well, at least I'm not getting too far behind our own students. Please, run me through it. She, picks up a pile of scrolls and says, this, as she dumps it off to the side, can wait for later. I do...
That was one nice thing about having very few students that actually wanted to take my classes. Very little paperwork.
Indeed. This is largely pertaining to all of the new students. These dragons are really something. They're really something, Larmendus. And while I want you to stay here, I feel like you're going to tell me that this is something you have to deal with, and I find that I cannot rightly disagree after seeing these things.
It is my immediate attention is, I feel, best spent in this endeavor. I also hope that these new students don't need to see some of the things that I have seen, although I'm sure many of them have.
She will lean across the desk and reach a hand out to place against the side of your face as she holds eye contact. You can prevent her from touching you if you wish.
I don't think he would flinch away from that.
She rests the heel of her hand against the side of your face, placing pressure next to your eye as she holds eye contact, and you can see this concern, this genuine concern spread to her face. She says, I have always known that you're a teacher and not a fighter, Larmendus. But I suppose I have also always known that there is a conviction to you. Very often that is to not fighting, but mostly it is to doing what you believe is right. And so, I very much believe you when you tell me you wish to protect these children. These, our next generation of wizards, by throwing yourself into this. And I feel you are probably right. That is the rational part of me. But the part of me that is your friend, even your former mentor, I want you to be careful, as much as you can. Everywhere outside these walls can be quite dangerous, but weigh the risks before taking them, okay?
We always do.
I wonder, seeing that group, and that little girl, how old is she?
Out of character. 15 now?
14 now.
14.
14? 14 still? Okay. She's 14.
Whose is she? Alias?
You wish.
I don't know, and neither does she.
There. With a human? You dog?
No, she is not mine.
She likes you.
We've been traveling together for, well, I suppose it's only a few months, actually, but it has been an eventful few months.
Well, I suppose the funniest thing to me is simply that I could seriously entertain the thought that she might be yours. Never imagined you with children.
And we shall see what the future holds.
These are strange times indeed. On Laramendus is cagey. Well, Professor, teach me.
Laramendus will walk through the spell and all of that, and probably spend time while doing so talking about the eccentricities of Nerevar's way of doing things and how it's very different than what's taught here in certain respects.
She will relate that she has heard stories of travelers like him who wield magic that is sometimes very alien, even though it often produces similar effects. They are rare, and you are lucky. I myself would have loved to have spoken with this man, only to better understand the things that I cannot see. I suppose I'm not going to be able to convince you to stay. Suppose I should not convince you to stay. Not yet.
Now is not the time for me to remain here. Although, as I said before, we shall see what the future holds.
I want you to hold on to the ropes. It's against protocol for them to leave the school, but I trust you, and I think they might come in handy.
Laramenda seems surprised by this, because I think that this is fairly odd.
Very unorthodox.
But that is the word I was looking for. Yeah.
She's going to, you're gonna see her blush a bit. And she's, don't look at me like that, and don't let anybody find out.
Understood, and thank you.
I'm really glad you came back for a visit. And I will make sure that the knowledge you have shared goes to improving the future of our students here, regardless of any other outcomes.
A more detailed account of what happened in Garland and what it was like, I was able to share with the Temple of Ione in Tuca. Unfortunately, I believe that they're fairly busy with events that had transpired there after the dragon. But
it's true, they are, but we have your account. Hopefully you'll be able to finish that accounting before you... And she spares a glance to Ash, upset the goddess.
out of character, is now probably about when we should be leaving.
Yes, she's been working toward it.
Yeah.
She doesn't want you to go.
Lermidus does have a very good sense of time, though. So we'll, I think, stand and say, I believe now might be when my companions are expecting me at the amphitheater for our trek.
She rolls her eladrin eyes and sighs and says, yes, I suppose it is. She pushes her chair back and forces herself to a standing position by pushing off her knees and settles in a very casual posture, one not commonly adopted by the faculty here, before extending a hand to you and smiling a bit bitterly, saying, Professor.
Lermidus will take her hand. Dean, it is always a pleasure.
Come back soon.
I will certainly try.
Now get out of here. I have a ton of paperwork to catch up on, honestly.
I do not envy your position, but I wish you luck. Don't work too hard.
Please. I won't. Safe travels there.
Keep me informed if there is anything that you think I should be aware of that makes its way here before it does to me.
We all know sending. She smiles and waves a hand, and the door closes in your face.
Lermidus will, make his way. I'd probably make his way to the room that he had stayed in. I don't think he left anything in there, but he'll do that and change out of the robes. So he's not going into the Feywild in them.
Alrighty.
And then make his way to the amphitheater.
You get there. You find that your party is gathered there.
Real quick. Was there any way to see time or things in the library?
Yes.
I would have kept an eye on that and have gone back to my room quickly to put on my armor and stuff before heading to the amphitheater.
Very good. You are at the amphitheater on time in your armor. You get there. Leah, Tatsuya, you are coming back from this discussion that you had. You found another dean of college and began asking them about auditing courses. This, I imagine, was a difficult conversation, as the person you were speaking to kept assuming it was for Tatsuya, who could not really explain anything about magic if he tried, and keep trying to redirect him to the young girl, which he seems to, for a good portion of the conversation, think is some kind of a jest. So you do have a frustrating conversation for most of it, but eventually he realizes that you are serious and says, well, yes, we do allow for auditing of the courses, as it is the name on these the education that gets people their positions out in the world. As an auditor, you would not be able to obtain our name for that. I have, and he rifles through some pages in a file. He, summons up next to him. Says, schedules of courses of study for the next couple semesters. If you wanted, I could probably get you into a class tomorrow.
I was leaving
Yeah,
tonight.
we're not gonna be here tomorrow.
I see. Well, in that case, what I have is the list of courses for the next couple of semesters, and when you are back in our orbit, you may sit in. And he holds out a few sheafs of parchment that seem to have grids upon them that are filled in Elvish script.
That would be useful, thank you.
I just gotta use that and cross-reference Larry Mendez's notes for introductory courses and everything when you're in the mansion next time.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an entire room of new students to orient, and it's almost supper time. They're going to be quite restless. Is that everything you need?
Yes, thank you. Sorry for taking your time.
Thank you for your interest in our academy. Before he shuffles off to wherever he is going, looking confused.
Is it that odd for someone my age to want to study?
I don't know. I went into the military pretty young, so it's kind of odd to me that you can't go into this school at a young age as well. I guess they work differently.
I guess so.
But make sure that you talk this over with your dad when we see him again.
He don't understand anything of this.
Yes, he doesn't know that we're here right now.
Well, no, I mean magic.
I mean, we technically know magic. We're paladins. We're just we don't delve in that type of magic.
I guess he probably has as much knowledge as I do.
I don't know why that guy couldn't figure it out that it wasn't me trying to enroll the school. I mean, do I look like a wizard? I have a hammer, for Christ's sakes.
Whose?
Well, I think they have clerics here.
Very well. Well, we should probably get back to the group.
Yeah, we should.
Piggyback ride?
Hell no.
Oh, fine.
I'll be so tall.
You can see so far.
Yeah, no, you heard me.
Oh, yeah. I guess we'll head back then.
You go to Amphitheater Square, which is aptly named. It does appear to be a large amphitheater, which is surrounded by this intricate hedge. It dips into the ground. It's a marble seating area and a stage that appears to be made of wood, though not wood you're familiar with. It seems to have this iridescent orange color to it. That as the sun is setting, you're just seeing these greens and purples, these violets being set off in its surface finish. It's fascinating, and as you approach, you can see that there are a few other people milling about as the sky begins to fill with dark clouds, and thunder rumbles in the near distance over the buildings. You see students all around pulling up their hoods, and some pointing at the clouds as they roll in, in awe, as rain begins to pour heavily over the campus. Can I make it rain?
Make it rain.
I think so.
And no, there's no rain at the moment. The best you can do is like the rain ambient sound.
Yeah.
I mean, considering most of us have platinum like ingots, I don't think make it rain is very good.
Make it hail!
You would knock the poor stripper unconscious. I can only imagine that. I see this
Just
girl
like
like, yeah,
chucking
there's
ingots.
chicken nuggets. Just
There we go.
And then the white thing on it is how thick the fog is.
Yeah. Well, alright, so rain begins to fall. Fog begins.
If the rain is falling, right, or Tatsuya is going to like hold his shield arm up over Leah so it blocks the rain.
Okay. Very nice, very nice. Leah, you hear the rattle-tack of rain hitting metal plating and wood, and find that it is no longer falling on your skin.
look up, sigh, and just deal with it. just suck it up. At least I'm not
God
wet.
damn it! Somebody's freaking blocking rain from hitting me.
The sun continues its downward trip into dusk. You do spot the rest of your party gathering from their disparate parts of the campus. You see Jebble and Vendar traveling together. You see Yukikaze alone. And you see Cyrus and Laramendus coming back separately as well, all headed toward this point, looking up toward the gathering storm clouds and the falling rain. And as you gather silently here, you are going to hear a familiar voice, Leah, calling out, saying, "Oh dear, wait! I'm coming! Excuse me, please. I need to get through to the square." As you see some of the becloaked students parting, you see a wet muss of hair slapped across this elven face as Evandal maneuvers his way through the crowd towards you. Says, "Oh, I hope I haven't been too late. There you are. Hello? Professor Larabendis?"
Laramendus will wave and walk towards him.
Oh, good. I'm glad I caught you. The fine-tuning of the fork I was provided took a little longer than expected. But we did have, as I assured you, a stock of working material for the Feywild. Now then, if you could, just so that I have it on record for the school, transfer me 450 gold pieces for these, then I will mark us as square.
So I think I will just give him a platinum ingot. Say I don't have the change for it, but I think this is close enough.
Oh, that's fine. And he waves, and a bag seems to loom up from somewhere on his person, rising into the air next to him, and he, like, reaches his hand into it, kind of like a magician reaching into a hat, and draws forth a gold ingot. And says, "There we are, all square."
So, gold ingot, so add 50 gold pieces to that.
Yep.
Just keep
So one gold ingot worth 50 gold pieces. As I said, you provided the material, so it was partially paid for as it was. The intrinsic value is the same, and this should be an excellent tool for returning you to the material plane. Leah?
Thank you for your good work.
Oh,
Yes?
it was my pleasure. He turns to you, says, "I believe I have what you requested of me earlier, and he holds out his two hands, palms up, and across them you see two tuning forks. One looks much like the one you gave him, at least by its color and the tarnish that was upon it. But you can see that he has marked it. He has crossed out the. He's placed a mark on it, rather, that indicates that it is for key of C. So now you can just know by looking at it what key it is in. You also.
Oh, that's handy.
Huh?
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah. The metal workers here are quite good, and we like to make it easy to know. Plus, it is a non-standard method of approaching C. We have, he kind of, moves his hands in and out as he searches for the words. A method that we usually use to produce these, so all of our C forks look the same. But what we did with yours was we changed the angle of the prongs and how wide they are, and we tempered a portion of it to change the vibration. In any event, it's C, and now you can see that there. We've also made it a proper focus by adding some gems and such like to increase its magical properties. And this one, he moves a finger and causes the other one to dance. This one will take you to the Feywild when you should need to use it instead of a perpendicularity. This one is crafted from a particular metal that is only mined there. You will find that when you take it from me, you will feel the hum of power within it, and that will grow stronger once you are in the Feywild. So just be aware that it's going to feel a little odd.
Interesting.
We have adorned this with the typical Alara wood decorations, which increase its connection to the Feywild, as that is a wood that is only found there, and its ability to channel the magic that you need. Not that all of this explanation is quite necessary, but I wanted to ensure that you fully appreciated the craftsmanship of the tools that you use for magic.
Yeah, and I appreciate the information.
Well, he passes them on to you and straightens up. Before folding his hands behind his back and smiling around the group, says, I didn't have a chance to meet all of you. I am Evandel Yelden, Professor of Conjuration, and friend to Professor Laramentis. It was very good to see you again. I am sad that you are parting so soon.
Professor of Conjuration, eh?
Indeed. And
Well,
you are?
My name is Cyrus.
Ah, you are the one then.
What?
You are the one who restored the statue.
Yes.
Well, excellent work. Quite the find. It will provide us with something to study for a great long time, and I believe it will be turning heads for at least as long.
That is the hope. If I survive this, I'm coming back for one of your classes.
Excellent. I shall prepare a seat for you. Well, to all of you, lovely trip in the Feywild. I must away, as I have business here, and no one to see there at the moment. But, good luck.
Be well, Evandel. And I hope to be able to return soon. Sooner rather than later.
And thanks again for your help.
Oh, it was a pleasure. If you have, anything of import that you see, I am always willing to communicate via sending. So there.
I think that if we find anything that's in your area and should be moved, I think we can arrange that.
He smiles a bit uncertainly at that and nods his head before extending a hand.
Lermanda shakes it.
You see that his jaw is like tensing and untensing and his lip curves as he seems to want to say something but isn't sure what. So he instead has this vaguely shifting rigor of a smile on his face as he sort of just nods a short, quick frequency of the chin before releasing your hand and says, "Well, I hope to see you again soon." And he turns and bustles off back into the crowd, throwing up a hood over his already matted hair.
I trust everyone. Lerma's will turn to the rest of the group. I trust everyone's time here, though brief, was what they were looking for.
Well, I don't know if I found what I'm looking for, but we'll see.
I'm honestly surprised you managed to get out of there, Cyrus. How was the guy?
The talk was short, the chest was long.
The what?
Well, he didn't like the idea of my not being enrolled here, and didn't particularly enjoy didn't particularly take to the line of my saying I was going to be enrolling here. So to pay for the information he gave me, he had me play him in numerous games of Dragon Chess.
The payment he extracted from you involved more time with him.
Yes.
Huh.
He seemed to very much enjoy playing chess, and there's always... Even when I got close, there was always something that went kind of funky and I'd lose.
To the voice in the sky, did I ever play Jerry?
Do you feel like Laramendas?
I don't think Jerry would have wanted to play with Laramendas.
You did
so
not.
I don't think I did.
All right, there you have it.
Well, I suppose he's had quite a lot of time to practice the game over the years.
Yeah, I'm not exactly an expert, perhaps not even a novice, but I don't know. He also had a very well-timed heart attack when I was trying to see if he... Well, fake heart attack. When I tried to see if he was using detect thoughts. So I don't know.
You think it was cheating?
If he is, he's very good at it. It's very difficult to tell.
It was just a game for fun anyways, right? It wasn't for...
It was... From the sounds of it, was practice for some other game he had.
Looks like it's more your kind of guy, Vendar. If he's good at cheating.
Hey, I'm not alone in being good at cheating.
We can't be
He is
sure
not
that he was
being
cheating.
He was clearly good at not getting caught.
It's not a very
Those are
thing
the
good
best
thing
cheaters.
to be proud of, but it also...
It isn't my line of work.
Would you rather get caught cheating?
I would rather not be cheating at all and still win.
You're never gonna win if you're not cheating. Everybody's
not-
cheating. That's the point of the game. If you're
Well,
not cheating, then you deserve to lose.
Yeah. That's one way to look at it.
Well, the other question is if the game rules actually state that you can't do what he was doing to take advantage of the situation. If you're not allowed to use outside influences, then he was in wrong. But if it wasn't, then he was perfectly fine knowing what he was doing. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. We're looking to get ready to go, aren't we?
Indeed.
Yes, and that is waiting.
Let's hope we can find him quickly.
As you chat, and the sun falls lower in the sky, and through beyond the edges of the dark clouds, you begin to see stars glinting in the haze. You hear again that same announcement tone, the bing, 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 and the female voice once more saying in 3 languages, "Attention students, at this time, if you do not wish to transfer to the Feywild, please clear the Amphitheater Square. The western perpendicularity will now open, and will remain open for the next half hour. Thank you for your attention to this announcement." Bing, 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 bing. And as she says this, as she finishes saying this, you look to the stage in the middle of the amphitheater, and you see this dome, almost like a wall of force, expanding around it, where the rain seems to be colliding with it and stopping. And then, as it grows larger and larger, you realize that it's not hitting it and stopping, it's hitting it and changing color. As opposed to this clear gray haze of rainfall, you start to see this deep purple and bluish rain falling, as within this bubble, all the colors seem to shift slightly, even though, as near as you can tell, all of the structures seem unchanged. And this ripple expands out and out until it reaches the edge of the amphitheater, and you're looking down over these green and turquoise stones as opposed to the red and white marble, as it leads down toward the stage, which is now seemingly the same Alara wood. The grasses in between and around the stage are this, like, brilliant blue, illuminated by what you think initially are fireflies, but you realize are just drifting motes of light in the air. And you can see, standing around the edge of the bubble, all of these students, like, kind of gawking. Some, seem more accustomed to what is going on. Others clearly witnessing this for the first time, pointing and talking to each other about what is going on.
Always a breathtaking sight.
You may, whenever you are ready, step into this bubble of altered color.
Shall we? And then Alaramendus steps through.
Follow.
So yeah, we'll step through.
Let's do it.
Okay.
One by one.
Well, here goes.
One by one, the members of the party step into the bubble, and they do
I'll
not...
make sure I step in before Tatsuya.
Wow!
You like shove him back as you step forward.
I wonder if this would be
Tie his
another moment where instead of Raiken, Raiken faster in the on the ladder, and she cuts in front of him, and he can't stop, and he falls on her.
I mean, those stones look pretty slick.
Uh-oh. Should I roll?
Please.
Don't worry, Leah. None of those were ones. God, that was a funny I'm so glad at least that got recorded. I almost just clicked the update Discord button. It's up there. It's green.
It's so tempting.
It's so tempting.
You'll live.
In any event, as the members of the party step through one by one, they do not vanish. They do not disappear. They do not seem to dissolve into this bubble. You actually just see them seem to walk into it. And, it's almost like the light over them is a little bit more orangey as they step into the bubble. But they seem to still just be walking ahead of you. And you enter. And as each of you enters, you do feel this change. All of a sudden, the air, which was heavy with moisture from the rainfall and full of the sea breeze, suddenly is more. The humidity increases. The salt air disappears. You no longer hear the cries of seagulls in the air above you. But you do hear the chirping of birds and other animals. And as you look around, you see that you are surrounded by similar structures to the ones on Solsarakis. These marble buildings, only now, rather than white stone, this glistening, pristine white city, you are surrounded by this city of greens and blues, beneath an orange sky that is covered over, the orange sky shows through between these heavy clouds that seem to be spilling forth this rain of a deep blue hue onto the deep blue grass of the ground. And all around you now are elves and eladrin, not dressed as the members of this, of the Marble City, of the university, but in these regal-looking, noble-looking outfits, and all of them has what appears to be like a bubble of water over their head, keeping them completely dry from the falling rain. And they all, you see them moving about this city full of these stone structures, illuminated everywhere by dancing magical light. And you are surrounded by the sounds of these people talking, speaking primarily Elvish. You do hear some Sylvan. You do hear a little bit of Draconic now and then. Primarily, the crowd around you is Elf or Eladrin, either High Elf or Wood Elf. You do notice scattered among them just a smattering of humans and Dragonborn. And a couple of the people therein dressed in the garb of the university. You, in fact, see some people who transferred now heading away from the perpendicularity, moving in groups of 2 or 3, and maybe just, 3 of these smaller groups moving out into the city. I hand it to you, Laramendus.
I am just trying to confirm the name of it.
Ylvatheas.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the Feywild and the city-state of Ylvatheas.
You're
Strange.
Who here does speak Elvish?
I do.
Kazi does.
I do.
I do a little what you taught me.
Even Tatsuya does.
Yeah.
So who
Nope.
doesn't? Just Jebble?
Yeah. Seems to be.
So Jebble and a little bit of Leah.
Yeah.
Convenient.
Well, one other person, but he's not here right now.
I believe we should get away from this area so that we don't risk transferring back or anything like that.
Do you have any knowledge of this place, Laramendus?
The city?
Yeah, this city in particular, because this is a place that we're able to warp to, or transfer over to.
I've been here many times.
Alright, well, we'll follow your lead then.
Very well. Armendus begins heading away from the perpendicularity.
You begin.
What time of day is it?
It appears to be the same time of day.
Cool.
It is dusk, heading into night. You begin heading away from the perpendicularity. The inhabitants of the city seem to largely ignore your presence. They seem unbothered by you being here. They pass the same... They give you the same passing glances that anyone would, as they know, somebody who's not from around there is showing up and walking through. So you do catch these elves and Eladrin kind of glancing at you. They might pass a word between themselves, potentially about you, but then they seem to ignore you. But you do all, especially Vendar, quickly become aware that somebody is walking in your shadow.
Laramendus is, pointing things out and
Yes.
things like that. Not actually noticing this.
That makes sense.
And I get a look at the guy or whoever's following us.
Yeah, the person following you is, they, have their hands shoved in their pockets, and they're, kind of leaned back, leading with their feet, in an almost, cartoonish mockery of shadowing someone. You're trying so hard to be incognito that you can't not stare at the person. What you notice about them is that they don't appear to be wearing noble garb like a lot of the other people you see here are wearing. These very fine cloth, with gold inlays and jewelry, just looking very fancy and very royalty. This person is wearing some very clashy, bright colors, and the ends of their pants legs and their sleeves are jaggedly torn, almost like they were cut into these jagged shapes to accentuate the fact that they look torn. They have patches stitched on with large stitching in places, and their clothing overall looks very out of place and very standoffish. And this is all before you notice that they have face paint, being run down their face by the rain just falling straight upon them, as they do not have this bubble of water protecting them from rainfall.
Are we being followed by a mime? The silence there I take as a confirmation.
So Laramendus, as I said, none the wiser. Given the time, I think that we should probably find a place to be staying for the evening, and then we can plan our trek out of the city from there. Perhaps get some information about where exactly it is that we might need to be going.
And you see this person following you kind of turn a bit to the side and throw a hand in front of their face, which, given the rest of their attire, does basically nothing to hide who they are. As they call out, and they say, "Well, I don't rightly know where you're going, strangers, but I have an idea where you could stay."
Laramendus stops dead. And then turns.
"And I think the cost of staying there tonight is rather affordable."
Who exactly
you
is it?
see this elf standing there covering a portion of his face, turned coyly away. You very much recognize the outfit that they're wearing. All of you turn to see this person. They are very much dressed like a clown or a circus performer.
I wasn't expecting this.
Who is this person? Which one is it?
And, as you're like looking back, and this look of dread is creeping. I imagine. I don't want to speak for you.
Like he stopped dead, turned around slowly, and then just like is going a little pale.
You just kind of see his hand come down enough to expose one eye, and there's just this keen knowledge in it. It says, "I believe you can afford to give one hug to your dear old Papa Mendes."
Wait.
Oh.
Aw.
Boy, you get over here right now and give your dad a hug.
Laramentus will go over to the man.
Wraps his arms around you. You can feel the face paint smearing from him onto you.
What is happening? This can't be real. I'm dreaming, right? Pinch me.
Is this Gypsy Man your dad?
Is Mama Mendes around too?
Ma's back at camp. But I'm sure she'll be happy as a clam to see her son.
What
I gotta see that.
brought you to the perpendicularity?
So wait.
Perpendicular. We're here to perform, boy! We had a show all day, and yesterday, and the day before that. We've been performing all week here.
Does that mean that it's
So
time
wait.
to leave?
Did Lerman just run away from the circus instead of to it?
I don't like to think of it as running away from this. It was.
We like to think of it as running away from the circus. Yes, that is exactly what this ungrateful child did.
I left to pursue my education at the university.
Now he's all college educated. Never writes home about nothing.
There have been prior to very recently. There's been nothing to write home about.
In
But
200 years, there's been nothing to write about.
I mean, there's been fish. But why don't we?
Cousin Reuven will want to hear all about the fish. You know that.
It's true. They would. But let's go.
That we should, because your mama's gonna be so happy that you're staying for dinner. And look at all the little friends you brought.
I am
Leah's trying so hard not to laugh.
very surprised.
Little Leia never had too many friends of his own. That's why he ran off to the university. Liked books better than people, I think.
Vendar has a massive smile on his face.
Yeah, Jebble too.
I can't wait to meet her.
This
Can't wait to meet the rest of your family.
Pa, these are my companions. I introduce everyone closest to farthest.
Well, any associate is a future client and or entertainee of mine. It is a joy to meet all of you. And he, goes to honk a nose, which is clearly not on his face currently, and he just sort of, must have lost it in the rain.
I reach into my pocket and pull it out.
Oh! 200 years and you're still covering for my jokes, he snatches out a hand. Maybe you'll get an extra help in the pie tonight.
It has been quite a while. Still the same recipe?
Nothing but cream.
Oh boy.
He's going to lead you through town, You are now getting lots of looks as he is loudly regaling you and asking you
Does he have
questions.
squeaky shoes? Please say he has squeaky shoes.
I mean, is he really a circus performer if he doesn't have squeaky shoes?
And they're big.
They're squeaking even more with the rain.
Five sizes too big.
Oh, the squeaky and soggy.
And they got like glowing souls.
Raiken's gonna be sorry he missed this.
So they're passing through, and all this Jebble is just occasionally like gripping Laramentis, like, "Don't worry, Laramentis, juggling is hard. I can see why you left." Like,
I never did get the knack down for that one.
We tried to teach him. Boy just couldn't learn.
Well, what exactly did he do? Well, performing.
backflips.
He made pyramids.
He made pyramids. Is that all he did?
Most often, I was selling concessions. I would, especially when I was younger.
Nobody could sling confections like my child.
I can only imagine.
You can say so. But what more could young Laramentis do?
Well, if
I
I
don't
can get
think we
him
need
to
to
put
talk
on
about
his
that.
old
It's all about
uniform.
childhood.
Absolutely think we need to talk about that.
So wait, does that mean Larmantis is in charge of snacks from now on?
It is also worth pointing out that as the paint runs more and more off of this man's face, you cannot tell that there is any age difference between Laramentis and this other man who claims to be his father.
Oh, that
Well, I mean,
elf.
it also helps that
How's the family resemblance?
Very good.
Laramentis
It's very strong.
Went up like several hundred years.
So it basically looks like Laramentis in face paint.
Yeah. Like, he's got some features that don't match, which must come from his mother, but...
But yeah, if you like squint only a little bit, it seems like that you could convince yourself that this is Laramentis just as a clown.
Come on, I'll introduce you to the whole family as he's walking you through the town. You know, the people with the rain bubbles over their head are, you know, making way for you and just sort of like rubbernecking at the curiosity that is this gaggle of armed adventurers being led by, you know, the clown who's been performing in town for the last week.
Oh, it's when he said that I introduced you to the whole family. Tremendous? Or more?
Well, of course there's more. We got, cousin Selenar, cousin Alwyn, cousin Reuven, cousin Farain, cousin Salerna, like, a whole mess of cousins.
It's a family circus. I love it.
And,
How is everyone doing?
well, I think they miss you right strong, but, show goes on, doesn't it, son?
It always does.
We've been
Travel's
performing
done
all
that
over
far?
the wild. We just a year ago, we were invited to perform for a play.
Was it everything was fine afterwards?
Well, we did lose cousin Rosalina that time.
Oh no, what happened?
I warned everybody in the family that when you talk to the Fae, you don't fucking talk to the Fae.
Laramentis is nodding.
But this one pretty boy Fae came up and, said, well, I can take you someplace real fancy. And she went, oh, Pa, can I just have a minute with this boy? And I said, you better not. And next thing I know, she's gone.
It is always one of the dangers.
That is...
Rosalina, but she called you Pa? Is everybody call you Pa?
He looks incredibly confused, like he doesn't understand the question.
Laramentis will turn to Vendar. Yes, everyone calls him Pa and Ma, and everyone else, well, they're cousins.
Okay,
Anyone who
'cause
finds their
for a
way into the
second
circus.
there- for a second there, I thought it was a whole different situation.
Aramendes,
Jebble.
where's your accent?
Drinking.
It's been some 200 years since I've been back in the Feywild. And over time, my manner of speech has gone more towards what would be...
Over time, your Aunt Curly's left foot. You taught yourself to talk that way before jumping ship.
I thought that people would take me more seriously at the university.
And did it work?
Wait, so if we stay here long enough, we could end up talking like that?
I don't think you would.
I
Is
like
really
this
talking
boy.
to Faye?
He's stupid. I could work with stupid. Do you
Oh
like
my, I think
shows,
it's already
boy?
doing its strike. Y'all gonna learn this real soon, Uncle.
Oh, it's spreading! It's contagious! Watch yourselves!
Leah, you do realize that, like, some of the, like, Elvish that is coming to you from what Laramend has taught you seems very, like, some of the like, accent in it does, like, it now, like, he spoke a little odd before, but now the connection is being made that his Elvish is tinged with a bit of,
Yes.
like, this kind of accent. It's just well hidden.
It's already taking hold of Leah. Who knows how long Raiken has? He might already been chained.
Contagious.
Now,
Yeah, he's visibly struggling not to laugh out loud.
Does Nalia know about this?
who's Nalia?
Oh, never
Yeah.
brought Nalia home to your
He's like
family.
shouldering up to you, Laramendus, like leaning in, like, who's Nalia?
She is a very close
Please let
friend
us-
of mine.
How?
let us be there.
He like leans out to the rest of the party and goes, how close?
None closer.
Oh, they're real close.
Oh. Do they have that kind of relationship?
Oh, you betcha.
Scandal. Scandal on this man's face. Let you march your butt to your mama run now. We having none of this in our household. Man your age.
I think that I'm quite old enough to be dealing with whoever I want, however I want.
You are never old enough to plan a wedding without your mother and me.
We have not yet begun talking of a wedding.
Well, then it's time to start talking of a wedding.
I feel like conversations around a wedding should probably involve Nalia and any thoughts.
We'll
that she
catch
might
her
have
up, don't you worry.
Laraminus glares at
Leah!
I think it was Leah was the one who. So Laraminus glares at Leah and
If I
says,
had
"Well,
suggestion, I might try and help, but I don't. So good luck.
Sorry, I think my joking got a little too out of hand.
There will be time for those kinds of discussions at another point. I'm sure.
You come to this area that is like a bit of an open space between where the buildings seem to end and then the wall of the city is like this gap between building and wall, and there's just a couple buildings, like a courtyard between them, and then this open grassy area, and then the wall. And you can see over the wall the orange sky stretching off beyond the edge of the clouds. You can see all these tall trees winding their way up, some of them looking almost coniferous, some of them looking decidedly deciduous, and some of them appearing almost like rainforest trees. And the chirping you were hearing earlier is now wildly loud. Like clearly whatever animals you were hearing before, they're out there over the wall. In this small grassy area between buildings and wall, just at like the edge of the rainstorm, you can see the drizzle dripping off of it, is this large stagecoach with like almost like a covered wagon, if the covered wagon portion of it was a house.
Oh, Jesus.
And you can see these wild-looking animals that shape is reminiscent of horses, but like overall the effect is not horses. They're kind of like mushrooms, if mushrooms, you know, could whinny. And they're tied up to the.
Are they mushrooms?
Well, like mushrooms, but if mushrooms were horses. Instead of cows.
Nashrooms?
Yeah. Nashrooms.
So they're just moldy horses.
Well, it's like if you grew a horse out of mold that then became sentient.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, I guess. It's certainly alien, that's for sure. These things are like pawing the ground, and you realize that when they lift their feet from pawing the ground, that some of the growth there, the grass, you know, like growth that is the grass of this area, has disappeared, and you realize that this is how they are grazing with their feet. And, Papa Mendes calls out, and an upper, like on the third tier of this oddly small and yet oddly big structure that is just the wagon, like this window opens up that looks very small from where you are, but you see half of a person suddenly stick out of it. Very odd, like the proportions just don't seem to work. You don't know how she got through this window. And you can see that she is also done up in circus attire. She has like she as she's waving, you realize that she's not actually waving at you. She's spinning like a hoop around her arm that has like flaming spokes off of it. And she says, "Oh, Pa's back! Welcome back, Pa! Who's that with ya?"
Hermendus will wave, like a sad, like, hello.
I found the old runaway, Ma, and he's staying for dinner.
At that, it is 10:33.
Yep, I think that's the place I wanted to stop.
I think that's a beautiful place to stop.
I love this.
That was some.
Alright, I gotta say, that's pretty perfect. Good work, you two.
So, you have concluded your dealings at the university. Some of you have gained some valuable information. Others have gained some valuable items. Others have gained some valuable experiences.
Yeah, like how to lose at chess repeatedly.
It was a good day for that.
I'd say we have several times met family members of the team. This has to be my favorite one so far.
I'm glad.
Didn't like it when Dragon Dad saved you? Fine, I see how it is.
He was interesting as well. But I mean, come on.
Your thoughts about is just tainted now.
Is the recipe the same? All cream.
All cream.
Yeah.
All right. You're in the Feywild. You have entered the city-state of Elvathius, and you have met Ma and Pa Mendes.
Oh, I'm so sad Raiken's not here to see.
Raiken is also very sad.
Raiken will never know.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
like
no,
this
we'll know.
keep a secret.
Everyone will know. This will be shouted from the rooftops.
Wherever he is, Raiken's just there. Got this feeling. He's like, I'm missing something good.
I don't know what's
Most
going
of
on.
Several things, but that's gonna be. Hold on.
I'm so excited for if they get you back.
Oh, Raiken's just gonna be like, damn it!
For a follower of Ion, you've been surprisingly good at keeping this information away.
Well, we never really asked about it.
But Dia has
That's more on us. Like, we never got to know him. I kind of feel bad now.
Dia has had several occasions where she was talking about traveling and performing.
Something tells me he wasn't eager to share this information. he may not have been hiding it, but he wasn't looking for opportunities to talk about it.
Hey guys, I ran away from a circus.
It is certainly a period of his life that he doesn't discuss frequently.
Why not? You seem very colorful and eventful.
And now the worst people ever has found out about it, so...
I love the admission that you are all the worst people ever.
We're not the worst people ever, but we're the worst people ever to find out about this.
Yeah.
Alright, guys.
We're not gonna keep this quietly.
I'm pretty tired. I'm gonna bow out.
Nope, that was the end anyway. So, thank you all for coming. Hope you had a good time, and this adventure is about to get wild. Feywild.
Hey.
Good night, guys.
See you next time.
Good night.
Good night.